Okay, everybody here, I'm going to show you behind me. This is my attic. Yay, COVID. So this will be what you'll see. I'm going to go to the painting in just a minute. Here, whoops. There's the one we started. See it dripping? See it dripping water? And now I'm going to add a background to it. So I'm going to take the camera to the table. There we go. You can see the glisten. I have saturated this paper all around the watercolor. I've left a little border, and now I'm going to wait for it to absorb. Let's see if that's wet enough. Absorb into the paper so it will stay damp for a while before we start adding the background. Now, while it's drying and while you are saturating, and I'm talking about not damp, saturating this paper and letting it soak in, I'm going to show you this. It's a very primitive way in 2022 to show you my information. But I'm going to put it there. Can you see that? So that while you're watching your paper dry, write this down. That's my information. I'll let it sit there while you wet your paper. All right, my paper has dried to some extent. I have put in wet brush, very damp brush, not sopping wet. Some of the color that I've used in the painting, a little bit of blue, and it will continue to dry. I'm going to even that out. I'm going to change brushes now, and I'm going to get into sort of the blue of the blueberry color. And I'm going to make a little blueberry here and here. Now see, this one stays put. That one's diffusing. That one's diffusing too much. So I'm going to wait and let that paper soak in a little more. I have plenty of room to work with. And I'm going to use some of the green that we used. Now I'm not making these completely round, but I am going to make these little circles or areas in bunches. See how that's working? And I'm going to do that. Here's a nice place down here. The blue I'm using is light ultramarine, like we did before. If it's too wet, wait, let it dry. I know it's too wet up here because I just brought water over. But when it's dry enough, I'm going to add these bunches where I want them to be. There's not necessarily a rule here. So if your paper's dry enough, add a few bunches. If they get too light, let it dry. We'll add some. If they're too dark, then we will deal with that in a minute. All right. I don't know how far you've gotten, but while you're painting, you can see I added other little wads here, and there are several mistakes. I saved them so you can see how I'm going to handle them. One, I don't like that. That's too strong. I'm adding water, pulling it out, and I'm adding water, and I'm pulling it out. I thought maybe some berries over here would be nice. I changed my mind. I've wet this area, and I'm softening that and blending that into other areas. All right, it's still there. I can't decide. I do think the eye is going to see it. So plan B, I guess we're on plan C now. I'm going to add a little green in here to connect that. That one's like, you know, what I don't want my painting to turn into something that looks like the measles. I'm going to leave that. So they're all very vague and out of context right now. I'm going to take some more of the green and add what the viewer, and look, I just placed my brush there. See, tip down, add a little bit of maybe green, maybe some here. Up here, see, I added some more berries. They're bigger, so they're going to tend to be in the foreground. So that's going to be darker. That's not what I intended right there, but you know what? I'm going to leave it. It's certainly added a nice little punch to the top part of this painting. So I think I'm going to do it down here. I have a blueberry implied right there. So I'm going to go around it, make it a negative shape. Enough of that is enough. So I'm going to bleed that down. Now, because that got so dark up there, and I do like it, I'm going to add some more over here, take it halfway across. The blueberry I did down here, I didn't like it. However, I am going to fill in some of that white paper there. Now, yours will be very different than mine. They're all going to look very different. I like this, not strong enough for the painting I'm working on. Don't know what that is, but I'm going to add some there, some there. Now next, and don't try to catch up with me, you work this at your own pace. I've got some brown on my brush. This is dry now, and I'm going to run a very light limb. I don't want it to come, I have a point here. I don't want it to come off there. I'm going to bring that limb here and here. That needs to connect somewhere, so I'm going to bring it out here. Can you see it's so light? I'll hold it up to the camera in a minute. My paper now is just about dry. This little area is bothering me. Right in here, I don't know, but I'm going to put a little darker blue in here. It's not even a round shape. You'll be able to see it better in just a minute when the glare dries from the water. Sure, don't want to overdo this. I'm going to leave that alone, but now see that in turn begs for something up here. Maybe here. Not a lot. What I'm trying to do with these little shapes is move your eye around the painting. I really like this up here. I might want it darker, but I'm going to let all of this dry. I'm going to get a test mat, put on it, and see what I think. All right, I've got my little test mat on here. I try to paint to a standard size mat. Now I can do it this way. I can move it this way. Let me adjust this a little bit for you. Can you see that? This way. There's the first one this way. I don't have to go this mat size. I have another test mat here with the corners. So there, I can put it, you see these don't quite connect. That's okay. So I can go here. See that? Or I can trim it into here. So that's up to me to find out where I like the painting. Right after you finish a painting, it's probably not the best time to decide if it's finished or not finished. Here's some of the close-ups. So give it a day or so. Back it out a little for you. Give it a day or so, and then come back and look at it. You'll find that it looks different to you. I have this little ditty wad down here. I was going to get rid of it. I decided I like it. I can include that or not. That can be it, more vertical. This can be it. What I've done is just gotten mats from some inexpensive mats. I cut them so I can move them around and see what I like and don't like. But that's going to be it for this part 3 of this blueberry painting. So I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you have done some painting. Take a minute, please, and subscribe to the channel, like the video, and any comments you would like to make. That would be much appreciated, and I will see you next time.